It's FYF Sports, man. It's Lamont. We back. Still here in Cleveland. Going to be here for a few more days. We're going to be making a few more stops around the U.S. Hopefully, I can do some meet and greets with some of you subscribers, man. It'd be nice to get some of you subscribers on the court for some 1v1s. Hopefully, we can, if we can find some indoor courts and we can make it happen, let's make it happen. So again, if I'm in your city, currently I'm in Cleveland. If I'm in your city, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. If you got access to some indoor gyms, I might have some access in your city, depending on who I know out there. Again, let's make some 1v1s happen. Again, I post all content. It'll go right on the channel, win or lose. I'm posting it. I highly doubt that it will be a loss. Hopefully I don't have to embarrass some of you guys too bad on the basketball court, but it could happen. But before we get into all that, before we get into today's video, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of the content, all the videos that we drop. Again, we just broke 10K, so we're going to have a lot of content, a lot of media coming out over the next week or so that you guys don't want to miss. All right, so to stay in tune with all of that information, make sure you guys subscribe and hit the notification bell. But today it's just going to be a quick game day breakdown. Game day breakdown on today's games, man. Today's games were really interesting. A lot of these games involve teams that are really playing for seeding or playoff spots. Some teams let me down. Some teams showed up and performed today. First game I want to break down just real quick, Grizzlies Jazz game. I really expected the Grizzlies to come out and put up a big performance today because again, they're playing for their playoff lives, and they've been letting a lot of games slip away that they should have won. And this game against the Jazz, I know Jaren Jackson's out for the remainder of this bubble season, so that hurt them a lot with regards to some of that interior scoring. And then he also was making a lot of threes for him, so it hurt him on the perimeter as well. They were not able to get it done against the Jazz. They allowed the Jazz, and the Jazz is not a team that scores the ball at a high level. They allowed the Jazz to score 124 points today. So again, the Grizzlies got a lot of work to do on the defensive end, allowing a team like the Jazz to put up 124 points. Again, that won't cut it. So the way it's looking now, the Grizzlies, the Memphis Grizzlies, and Ja Morant are on a steep decline. I don't know if they can bounce back from it. Hopefully they can stay in the playoff chase, and hopefully we can see them playing in that play-in game. Next up, we got the Wizards and the 76ers game. Again, this is a game that the 76ers desperately needed, primarily for just getting their rhythm back, just getting another win in the win column. But today they took a loss. Ben Simmons left the game early with an undisclosed knee injury. Now, hopefully it's not serious. He was able to walk off the court under his own strength. It didn't look to be anything serious like an ACL injury, but again, they're running all the tests right now to see what's going on with that knee. Hopefully, Ben Simmons comes back and he's healthy. Joel Embiid with another big game today. He was able to lead the Sixers to the win, a good win over the Wizards. We got the Nuggets and the Spurs. Again, the Spurs have been battling. The Spurs have been battling down here in the bubble. I like what they've been doing again, but they're a depleted team right now with some of their best players out. But those young guys, whenever you have Popovich leading the team, they're going to come out and compete. Unfortunately, today they weren't able to get it done against a depleted Nuggets team. So essentially, the entire Nuggets backcourt is depleted. You got Jamal Murray out. We got Gary Harris out. Will Barton out. I mean, their starting backcourt is depleted. Some of their bench players were able to step in that starting role today, show up. Jokic had another big game today. He was able to lead the Nuggets to a victory, 132-126. Next up, we got the Thunder-Laker game. And I had coming into this game, I predicted that the Thunder would win this game fairly easily. It just looks as if the Lakers teams are able to figure them out. After seeing the Lakers play, a quick scouting report by any coach in NBA is going to be able to outcoach the Lakers because they don't really have a very stout or tough offense to defend against. They rely on Anthony Davis to do all the heavy lifting scoring wise, and it's all based on one-on-one. And all teams are doing is they're forcing Anthony Davis to become a playmaker. And when you force a player like Anthony Davis to be your best playmaker, you're going to lose games. And this is what's hurting the Lakers right now. Defensively, they have no perimeter defense. And LeBron James just looks like he's a shell of himself for whatever reason. He does not look like the same LeBron James that we saw in the regular season, maintaining a high level of play. So LeBron James is struggling shooting the ball. He's struggling scoring the ball. He's what I feel like the Lakers should do is they need to take LeBron James off the point guard. They need to let a true guard come in and run the point. This is where Quinn Cook can come into play. Quinn Cook played on a Golden State Warriors team that won the NBA championship. He has a championship level experience. He can play that point guard position. Allow LeBron James to play off the ball, save his legs, and be more effective on the offensive end where they actually need him. So again, hopefully the Lakers can make some changes there. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they will. I don't know if LeBron is willing to sacrifice his stats and play off ball. But the only way the Lakers can have success in the NBA bubble this year is LeBron James is going to have to relinquish that point guard role. He's going to have to play at least small forward, power forward. He's going to have to let other players excel and do their jobs like Kyle Kuzma. And until that happens, the Lakers definitely don't have a shot this year. We got the Raptors with a big win over the Magic. The Magic, again, since that loss to Jonathan Isaac, and just they're dealing with some injuries as well themselves. Again, they look like a shell of themselves. They started this playoff bubble playing really well defensively. Since the injuries have happened, they've just kind of fallen off. And then we have the Celtics with a huge win over the Nets, 149-115. Extremely big win. Big time win over a Nets team that they definitely should beat. I love the fact that, and this is what the Celtics can do. Again, some games they can come out and they can demolish you with their offense. Other games they can come out and if they're not making shots, their defense is not good enough to help them overcome bad offense. So hopefully the Celtics can find some consistency there. But again, they're not going to be a contender until they can find more consistency all around the board on the offensive end and not have to rely on Jason Tatum to do the heavy lifting scoring wise on most nights. But that's the NBA summary for today's games. Like I said, my main concerns for the day is going to be the Lakers. The Lakers have to find a way to get LeBron James off that point guard position if they really want this team to be successful. And what's really hurting them right now is they failed to do the necessary due diligence in picking up a veteran point guard that can play that role in case of injuries. Now, we know Rondo has a history of getting injured. They should have, and they have Quinn Cook on that bench. And for whatever reason, they're not using him. Again, they have the bigs on that roster to help them out. But when Avery Bradley announced that he was not going to play on this playoff bubble, the Lakers should have immediately went out and sought out a veteran point guard that they could use. And then I felt like they could have did more. They could have done more to get Darren Collison or to convince Darren Collison to come out of retirement and play, and they didn't. But again, there are other guards, for me, even if it was bringing in a Jeremy Lin, we hate on Jeremy Lin, because of the Linsanity, and he hasn't lived up to that hype. But when you're just talking about bringing in just a solid veteran guard who can get the job done, Jeremy Lin, again, he's one of the guys who can help you facilitate and jumpstart your offense. Again, we're not asking him to drop 20 a game. We just need you to come in, facilitate the offense so that LeBron's not trying to do everything offensively. Because when LeBron's your facilitator, the number one problem with LeBron James is that he tries to go for the home run pass every time. LeBron James is not the type of player to make the next pass, which leads to the scoring play. He's trying to make and create the scoring play all by himself. And so because he's trying to create for everybody, because he's trying to make that home run pass, because he's trying to score himself, we have a lot of guys standing around getting ice cold. And again, this loss to the Thunder today is completely unacceptable, especially getting blown out. And, again, there weren't really a lot of blowouts today, but for me to have to come here and say that the Lakers were one of the teams that got blown out today, and you're talking about getting blown out by an OKC team that most people predicted wouldn't even be in the playoffs, again, that's not very good. Frank Vogel, again, I think his time with the Lakers is going to be up. He's not the coach for this team. I think the stage is too big. There's too much pressure coaching in LA, and Vogel was the wrong choice from the beginning. Why they brought Vogel in, again, I don't know. But you got to bring a coach in that can take control of this team, because you have two superstars whose voice will illuminate in that Laker locker room, and it can create dissent with the coaches if you're not on the same page with your superstars. Again, I want you Laker fans to understand this. If your stars are not aligned with you, there's going to be dissent in the locker room. And if there's dissent in the locker room between players and coaches, it's going to show on the court. Another team that's going through the same thing right now is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans. The New Orleans Pelicans right now, we see their effort go ebb and flow from game to game. There's nothing consistent. They are showing all the indicators of a team that's not hearing their coach. The coach has lost their voice, and we all know that these LeBron James led teams, LeBron has the biggest voice, and coaches are kind of just there to call timeouts. That's what it essentially seems and feels like. The only team where it didn't feel like that was going on was with the Miami Heat, where we know Pat Riley was going to take control of that organization. He was not going to allow superstars to dominate or control how that organization was ran. Everywhere else, LeBron James has been. This is one of the reasons why Kevin Durant said it's a toxic atmosphere playing around LeBron, because LeBron controls so much, not just with the media, but so many things with the team. You're going to be hearing different things. You're going to be so many different voices that there will always be internal confusion on LeBron James led teams. And again, this is not an insult to the man LeBron James's game. It's not an insult to his game, but the fact of the matter is that now they're in a situation where the Los Angeles Lakers have picked up two players, Dion Waiters and so they picked up Dion Waiters and they picked up Smith, and these are two clutch sports players. But these were two players that they absolutely did not need. They did not need scorers off that bench. They needed impact playmakers. They needed defense. Again, there were other players such as Lance Stevenson, somebody who can bring you not just scoring but intense defense at any time. All right, you have guys like Jeremy Lin over playing over in China that you could use right now. There are a host of other guards, there are a host of other players, veteran players that you could bring in that would suit the Lakers roster far better than some of the guys that they've chosen to bring in. But again, it looks as if some of the players that they're signing, it looks as if these player signings are being controlled by LeBron James. And ultimately, this is going to be the demise of the team this year. Just don't think they're strong enough across the board to win a championship, especially without A.V. Bradley and Rondo to shore up that perimeter defense. But if you guys agree or disagree, let me know in the comments of the video. We can hash it out. We can talk it from there. I may be dropping another video. LeBron James may make me eat my words. If they can pull this out and win the championship, we don't know. But again, FYF Sports been another great breaking news video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Again, we got a lot coming up this week. Now that we've hit 10K, the merch will be dropping. The merch video will be dropping. We got the part 5 to the mini series. 90s basketball was overrated. So we got a lot of different things that are going to be dropping, along with a host of reactions. Again, once I'm back in Arizona, we're going to be dropping all of this over the weekend. I cannot wait to share all this new stuff with you guys. But it's FYF Sports, been another great video, and I'm out.